Hey buddies, welcome to another episode of Brazilian Buddy Show. My name is Andrey and I'm here to prove to you that we are more than SAMBA, football and carnival. Today we have a Swedish girl from the Viking land. So Aurora, how was it? How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for letting me be on your show.
Yay!
So happy.
Today, yeah, and Aurora, how are you? And do you want to talk about your project before we
Yeah,
start?
sure. I can tell you a bit about myself. My name is Aurora and I'm from Sweden. But I also do a podcast that's called the Internationality. And yeah, I interview people that has like different international experiences. And the whole project started. I was in Japan on exchange in the autumn of 2017. And then it wasn't my first exchange. Like I had been on exchange before as well to the US during high school. And when I was on my exchange the second time, I realized that I was in so many situations with, international people from all around the world. And all the conversations that we had about like different cultures and experiences and culture clashes and all these things, I just thought that these conversations, it would be nice to share those conversations with other people that maybe are interested in different cultures, or and maybe like want to go somewhere but want to know more about that place. So I started to also like think about my own background, and because I have I'm what do you call it, like I have parents from two different countries. So my father is from Sweden and my mother is from Mexico. And also because of that, we have a lot of international like family, friends, and yeah, and family all around the world. So I started to think about that, and also with all the international friends that I've gained on my own, I felt like I could, relate to different cultures myself.
Mhm.
And I started to like question like, do I really only identify as Swedish, or do I identify maybe as like something more international?
Mhm.
And that's when I came up with the word internationality instead of nationality. And that became the name for the podcast. And I started to interview people that, had a similar background as me, with parents from two different cultures.
Ah,
And
okay.
then it just continued from there. Like I started to interview people that work, abroad or studied abroad, or someone that, was really interested in traveling, but maybe never had gotten the opportunity to go travel, but still was, very knowledgeable about, international business and stuff. So yeah, different international experiences. Yeah, it's up to 20 episodes now, the first season, and right now I'm on a short break, but
Mhm.
we'll release the second season this spring of 2021. So I'm
Yeah,
excited about it.
yeah, I'm excited too. And so we are like Latin brothers. This is
Yeah,
really nice. Yeah, we are from the same blood. Let's say that.
yeah.
This
Half
is
of my
really
genes is from the other side of the Atlantic.
this is really cool. Do you have something like Mexican culture inside of your house when like food maybe? Maybe we can
Um,
compare with our countries.
yeah, I guess my mom is like really interested in like Swedish culture. I think she got like really into that when she moved here. But I think in terms of like cultural things, it's definitely the food. So my mom will, sometimes when it's extra festive, cook Mexican food, tacos, tortillas,
Okay,
tostadas, gorditas, and stuff like
nice.
that. But then I mean, there are like items in my home that are from Mexico, of course. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, over like behind me, there's no, you can't see it, but there's like a blanket that's really colorful that we bought, in Mexico. So there's like small interior things that I would say that you can see like in our home, that there's, the Mexican culture that comes in. But yeah, I don't know what else. Let me think. Yeah, yeah, of course. We have the to make tortillas. There's
Mm-hmm.
this, I don't know what it's called, but there's this metal like big thing. I think it's maybe called tortilladora or something like that, where
I know in
you
Portuguese. I don't know if you're like the English speaker, but well, I
yeah,
know what it is. I know what it is.
okay, great. But it's like, you make a tortilla, you make the little ball, and then you put it on that, and then you press down the
Uh,
lid, and then you
mhm.
press it down. So we have that like in our kitchen, and also a lot of like colorful Mexican baskets, tortilla baskets,
Mhm.
and yeah, stuff like that. I don't really know. It's hard to like come up with something on the spot, but that's the first thing I think about when I think about Mexican culture. It's definitely food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have of course we don't have the same thing like tortillas and stuff, but I think that the way that we cook, it's really similar to Mexico. I've never been there, but when I see things at movies and whatever, I think like, wow, they are like similar to us.
Mm.
We have the same feeling and way to live maybe. So
Are you?
this
Is the food also very like based on beans? Frijoles?
beans, no, yeah, we have just the normal beans when we eat with rice, but like
Hmm.
made of beans, nah, no, no,
Okay.
unfortunately, no, yeah. And I know that you speak how many languages? Four?
Or more or less.
Japanese, Spanish,
Japanese is yeah,
English, and
and Swedish.
Swedish.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is really nice. And can you communicate with the other languages?
In all the languages.
Yeah,
I would
like
say that
fluently?
no, not fluently. I would say Swedish is, my mother tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And then because, Sweden is not that large of a country, and I mean the language is, not, I mean, compared to other languages, it's very not, not a lot of people speak Swedish. So we are exposed to English a lot. I would say that English is my second language. Yeah, English is, I would say that I'm fluent in English. I feel comfortable speaking in English. Also, like my whole like master education, it was all in English. So, and then I would say Spanish is my third. Even though my mom spoke to me in Spanish when I was a kid, I I don't speak it as well as I speak English, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't get exposed to Spanish as much in my everyday life as I do with English. So I think that's also a main reason why it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Japanese, I would say I'm on beginner level. I can say some sentences and phrases and understand some words here and there, but it's I'm working on it.
Yeah, I was searching, to talk about like things similar that we have with Sweden, and unfortunately I didn't find anything. But we have like some Finland Finland communities and a Norway farm as well in Rio de Janeiro state. And yeah, and I was like searching, and I found that we have a fighter jet. It is a development with Sweden and Brazil. So
Yeah.
yeah, when we talk about the aircraft like industry, we have something similar. And I'm
Hmm.
Brazilian, so I know about Ibrahimovic, the
Right. The
football
soccer
player,
player.
obvious. And yeah, we
Yeah.
don't unfortunately we don't have some news about Sweden, just the stereotypes as we were talking before.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I ask you the same thing. Like, do you have any news about Brazil, positive and negative?
In general, when I was on exchange to the US, one of the other exchange students that I got really close to, her name is Sofia. Shout out to Sofia. She was from Brazil, and I
Uh,
mean, I really liked her, and also other Brazilian exchange students. They were always so happy and nice and warm people. So I was like really excited to like go and visit them in Brazil for I think there was a World Cup there. It was quite long ago. but that was like my goal to go during the World Cup, but it never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, like that, I think that was like my first personal encounter with like Brazilian people, and it was like a really positive encounter, I would say. Like Sophia became like my extra sister, I would say, during my exchange. So I could really like relate to her, and also in terms of, you know, the Mexican culture, I could sort of like feel that there were some similarities also there. With you know, I feel like in Mexico it's also, you know, more warm people. Like people are happy and like nice and smile more, and maybe in comparison to like the Swedish culture, where it's more difficult to like get to know people in Sweden at first. So there's a little bit of difference there, and it's something that I really like about, you know, Mexican culture, then also Brazilian culture, from what I experienced, you know, hanging out with Sophia. But then, like you said, the samba, what is it? Samba.
What do you mean, like the
football, your slogan?
Yeah, we are more than samba, football, and carnival.
Exactly. Those things, of course, I've heard about, you know. But then, of course, the Amazonas.
Yeah, you said perfectly. Yeah.
Did I?
Amazonas,
oh, great.
Yeah.
That's, you know, a place I would really like to visit someday. I have a friend, a German friend, and she traveled in Brazil. We're actually pen pals since we were 8 years old.
Okay.
And she told me about this amazing trip in Brazil in one of her letters. And I don't know, it was just when I, like all the things, she was mainly traveling like along the Amazonas.
Okay.
Amazonas.
Yeah, Amazonas.
And she also visited Brasília.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
The capital.
And it was really interesting in terms of, because I've been studying architecture. So in terms of architecture, she described the city, and I also looked it up, of course, after she wrote about it in her letter, that it has the shape of an airplane.
I'm in shock. You know that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is really nice.
In terms of like city planning, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Let's talk about history.
Yes. Why is it an airplane? Because I don't remember exactly if I read about that.
Yeah, I don't know, but the most, you know, famous architecture in English.
Architecture, yeah.
It's called Oscar Niemeyer, and he did a lot of buildings here. I would say that he is you know, that famous guy from Spanish. He did La Sagrada Familia.
Yeah,
he did a lot of buildings. So
yeah, I know who you mean.
He's like the Brazilian version of like here, and he did a lot of buildings around the world, around Brazil. And he did like a partnership with the president by that time called Juscelino Kubitschek. And I think it was the 50s or 60s, I don't remember now. And that whole city was like developed to be the capital of Brazil, because the last capital was Rio, and they were like talking like, well, we need to like build a capital inside of Brazil instead of the coast. So that's why Brasilia was built. So yeah, but I'm impressed that you know about this.
Yeah, I thought it was so exciting when I heard about it. And also when you look like on maps, you can see that it really looks like an airplane.
Yeah, I'm shocked because you know that this is really nice. And she told you like some other places?
Oh, I can't remember. It's been years since I read that letter, but she was traveling like along a river.
Yeah, the river is called Amazon as well.
And then she was more talking about like the people that she met during that trip, I would say. So like people would, you know, move with that boat, like they had all their belongings with them on the boat, moving to like another place along the river. And there were a lot of backpackers and locals that were just taking the boat to another, you know, place.
I was in Manaus, which is the capital of Amazonas state, and they have a culture there that it's really fun. I think they do everything by boat. So they have a hospital, like a float hospital. They have a school. They have bars, restaurants,
That's so
houses.
cool.
Yeah, so like everything they do by boat, and because the river, like, it's so big, and we have
Yeah.
so like many animals and biomes and vegetations.
And I mean,
So
that type of architecture must be really interesting as well, to create a city that's sort of, or like a town that's sort of on water, like all these sort
yes,
of floating techniques and devices.
yeah, there is a neighborhood there, but I forgot the name, and it's a flotation neighborhood. So
That's
it's,
amazing.
yeah, and I was, riding by boats, like, well, guys, the guide tour. Well, guys, I'm in this neighborhood, and they have a hospital and school, everything. And I was like, well, which neighborhood? Because it was like in the middle of the jungle, and you have like a lot of school boats and hospitals and everything. And it's
Yeah.
and I'm from São Paulo, and we don't have this here, and it is so amazing because we
Yeah.
are so big. We have so many different stuff, and yeah,
That's another thing that I know about Brazil, is that there's so many different, cultures and communities in Brazil.
mm-hmm.
That's so cool that there's, I think I would really like to live in Brazil. Since I identify as an internationality, it would be really cool to, live among so many different types of communities.
Yeah,
And
we have the whole world here in the same
yeah,
spot.
that's
Like
really amazing.
like we have a big community of Germans, the largest Japanese community outside of Japan. We have some Dutch cities. We have German cities in the south of Brazil, and yeah, we have a lot of influences. Like, for example, indigenous as well, because when Portuguese arrived to Brazil, we already had people living here, so we adopted some cultures that they have, and I could see more clearly in Manaus, because they live there, nowadays, and it's really nice to see like the indigenous living in their place for until today, like for whole this year. And yeah, this is the beauty of Brazil. Like, we are completely different from each other's, and this
I
is
feel
really
like Brazil is definitely, like, after getting to know you and hearing about like the different places, because Manaus was also one of the pictures you sent me for the calendar I made on my podcast Instagram. And after you sent all those pictures, like, I feel like Brazil has definitely, gone up on my list of places where I want to go before I die. Like, and also that I realized that it's huge. Like, there's so many places to see, and like, I'm a bit sad that I realized I probably will never be able to see everything.
Yeah,
There's so
even me. Yeah, one of my objectives here, I want to visit all states here. We have 27, and I visited like 14, I think, and it is
that's not,
completely different. Like, in one place, I'm like looking for some historic cities, and on the other side we have nature. On the other side, you have um, other, like, countries living in the same place, like have Dutch influence and food and everything. And we have like a Finland city, which is called, well, the nickname is Little Finland. And they say
yeah.
and the funniest thing, like, they say like the summer house of Santa is in Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is a place in Finland which is like the house of Santa, and
Oh
we
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we did that joke.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. There's also another thing about Brazil, that it's below the equator. For me, I've never been below the equator.
The South America.
Yeah, I've never been. Like, it's it must be like, if you're, oh, how is it then? So now it's summer for you.
Yes, yeah,
Which
it's
is
really
winter coat.
hot, and I'm really wanna take this off.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sweating.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm freezing. Like I'm wearing like really warm socks.
Mm.
And yeah, it's snow outside. So
Oh, it's like how
yeah.
many degrees?
I don't wait. I think today wasn't too bad. It's like -2 maybe.
It's not too bad, -2.
Yeah, but I mean, I've experienced like uh, down to -30, but it's not very common.
Oh,
It's not very common, but at least not in the southern part of Sweden. But
mhm.
I used to live for 7 years in the north part of Sweden, and there I think normally like at least one day a year it would be down to like -25, -30 Celsius.
Gosh, because I already lived like 20, 34, 40 and degrees and
Celsius?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I cannot describe to you because it's really really hot, really hot. And when I got to Serbia, because it was a little bit of snow, it's
Mm.
like 10 and I was dying like 10 degrees, you know. We Brazilians don't survive in this temperature.
Uh,
We
yeah. My mom, when she moved to Sweden, she would wear like, I don't know, 4 pairs of pants on top of each other when she went outside. So yeah, but you can adapt, like you adapt after a while. Now she's not
Yeah,
wearing
that
4 sets of pants like when she goes outside. It's only the regular pant and the, winter pant that you have on top when she go outside. But
there is some
yeah.
places here that we can see snow, but it's like completely rare.
Mm.
But I've never saw here like it would be a really, how can I say this? It would be really nice to see like snow in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like we have a city called I think that Urupema, something like that, and it is considered the most cool like city in Brazil. And like you
Oh,
can see snow, you can see ice cold, which is like a rare phenomenon and happen just only on that place. And
cool.
yeah, so if you want to
Have you
see
been
snow,
there? Oh no, it's one of the places maybe that you want to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, it's in the south of Brazil in Santa Catarina state. So
Mm.
yeah, if you want to see like
Cool.
a if you want to see European influence, just go to Santa Catarina and you can see like a lot of good stuff. We have like a city called Nova Veneza. You can
Nova.
translate to New
New
Venice.
Venice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have, that whole Italian vibe, and you have the Carnivale di Venezia. It's like the
Cool.
with masks. It's really nice. I've never been there, but
It sounds
well,
like a place that maybe you will go because you seem
yeah,
really knowledgeable about it.
yeah, and people in that region, like people speak German sometimes. Like for
Oh,
example, yeah, like Timbó, I think, or Nova Pomerode, they speak German in Brazil.
okay. What?
It's like what? Yeah, I think eight
Oh, that's
percent,
amazing.
8% of population I think like speak German here in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
That's a
we
lot.
we are 210 millions,
Mm.
like when we talk about population, and 8%, so that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm just saying a lot of curiosities that I know, like to
Yeah,
be.
it's super exciting for you to hear
I'm
because
just like showing Brazil to you, like, well, we have this, we have that. Who we are amazing.
I love it. This is like exactly why also I'm doing my podcast because I want to hear like I want
Yeah.
to learn from people's experiences,
Hmm. And do
It's
you have
sorry.
what? Yeah, do you have any question about here? Like we can answer now.
I was just thinking before because like you talked about if that you never really hear any news about Sweden, and you asked
Hmm.
me before we started recording if I ever hear anything about Brazil on the news.
Yeah.
And usually, I mean, when Corona started, I felt like I was overwhelmed with all the news. So I limited my news intake to the morning radio news. And usually, I mean, it's a lot about, you know, Europe. Sometimes there's a little bit about, you know, from Asia or the US, especially now. But there's hardly anything from like Brazil. Occasionally there's something from Latin America, but usually it's Europe, US, a bit from about. But this was not, you know, usually news are not good news. But these 2 last days, there's been news about Manaus. And I was like, you know, when I heard that, I was like, oh, Manaus, you know, I've you know, shared your pictures from Manaus on the podcast Instagram. And then I was really sad to hear that there was bad news with, you know, that they don't have any more oxygen for their corona patients. And I think I was more affected by that news after, you know, getting to know you and hearing your stories about Manaus. It, you know, because now I had some sort of, you know, idea of it existing in a sense. So yeah, that's the news that I've, you know, noticed that's from Brazil that they talked about in Sweden. But other than that, I mean, there's not that often that there's anything about Brazil on the news. But I guess it depends also how much news you consume. Maybe you'll hear more news about Brazil if you don't only listen to the morning radio news like I do. But yeah, the questions about Brazil, let me think. Okay, this might be like a bit, maybe not Brazil specific, but since you're on the other side of the equator, of course the sun rises, you know, for me, I'm thinking that it rises in on my left side and it goes down on my right side. Because, you know, for me, the equator is to the south. For you, the equator is towards the north. Like, I guess the sun is quite high for you, but can you, like, when the sun, like in winter, when the sun rises, for you, I guess it's from the right going to the left when you look at it, like.
Right? I've never thought about that. Like maybe it's
because it's always going to be east to west, you know, if you look at the globe. But just like when you think about right and left, like.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never realized before. Like, well, I don't know.
Or is it? I don't know.
Maybe it's the opposite. Yeah. Maybe it's the opposite.
Yeah, because I've never been on the other side of the equator, and maybe you have to be a bit more south to see a difference. Because like, is the sun like really high in the sky normally where you live?
Normally,
or
yes.
Is it like a little bit, you know.
No, normally like I'm here, sun, you know.
Like straight from above. Then maybe it's difficult to see a difference. Maybe. Like I've only heard from my mother because we never go to Mexico. Never in the summer. She tells me that if you're on the beach, you cannot stand still because then you will burn your feet in the sand. And like when you're showering, you're sweating while you're showering. Like,
yes.
Is it like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Of course, there is some places in Brazil which is really hot. Like here in São Paulo, I think it's an average temperature between 25 to 32. But in the Northeast, for example, you have 34 to 40. So like it's that kind of sun that literally burns your skin. You know, like you cannot be in like on the sun walking in the streets, like because it's another world. Like it's really, really, really hot. It's really hot.
I can imagine. I mean, I've never experienced that ever.
Yeah, I of course I got used, but like sometimes, you know, I'm just walking with jeans, you know, and like damn, I cannot survive to this, you know. No. It's in Brazil you don't have like a, you know, good temperature, or it's really hot, or you have snow like in the south sometimes. So yeah, Brazil is really hot.
Then I guess you must get sunburned a lot. Or maybe not.
it happened like
Maybe
two
you're careful.
times. Yeah, it happened like two times, I think.
Mm.
But like I'm always like, how can I say, my skin it's always darker as usual because of sun.
Yeah.
And yeah, because when I got to the Europe, for example, and people were comparing like my skin to them, because I'm not black, okay, but how can I say, I'm a fusion of black and white. So here in Brazil we have a new race, let's say that, called mulatto. And
Yeah, I know the word. Yeah.
yeah, it's like me. So I'm not black, but I'm not white. And when I got there, like people were like, "Wow, nice your skin," you know. And this is really fun to hear, you know.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of tones, you know.
So you then, I mean, you have the advantage of that your genes is like protecting you from the sun. It's a bit the same for me. I mean, in the summer, a lot of, people who only have Swedish parents will easily get sunburned. It depends on their genes as well. But for me, it's like, I don't get as easily sunburned. I can get sunburned, but not, as easy. I actually have a question now. Because after, I would say, I lived in Japan, I started to become more of a like nature tourist. So like seeing natural sights is something that I enjoy even more now whenever I go travel. And if I were to go travel to Brazil, what would be like the top, let's say, 5 natural locations?
Natural locations.
That you would recommend to go.
Okay, the first one definitely is the Amazon rainforest, because Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
That's it, Amazon rainforest. Definitely Roraima Hill, which is like the top of the north of Brazil. And you know that movie Up from Disney? Yeah. So it was inspired on that region.
Oh, nice.
Wow. And there is this hill, which is I'm not sure if it is the highest point of Brazil. I forgot now, but it's really really beautiful. So you can search Roraima Hill or Monte Roraima in Portuguese. So there is a tour there. I think for 5 days or 7. It's like 3 days of hiking to go to the top. So one day I will do that and I record. And definitely
yes, please do.
Yeah, I will. And the third one, I would say Lençóis Maranhenses, which is it's like a dune that we have in Maranhão State. And there is a phenomenon there because of rain, and they like full the dunes. So you have like little natural pools, a lot of them.
Oh.
And it's it's really beautiful there. And I will visit in 3 days, I think. Yeah, I will go there.
Is it close to where you're at now?
No, it's like 3 hours of plane, 3 hours and a half. So it's a lot, yeah. On the fourth one, I would say Chapada Diamantina, which is located in Bahia. How can I say? It is a big, it's a big ecological park that, and you have that, Tulum from Mexico?
Yeah, I recognize
that. So imagine that place and you are in Brazil. So it's really close to it. And there is some natural pools, waterfalls. There is a place I think called Blue Lagoon, like in a cave, I think, and it's really really beautiful, really 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 beautiful. And I've never visited there before, but people like say that it's an unbelievable view. And the last one,
the fifth one.
Yeah, maybe we need to do a top 10 because there are a lot of places.
Do you want to do a top 10? Should we change it to 10 instead?
I'm just gonna like say all the places that I know, and let's see what's gonna happen. So we have Fernando de Noronha, which is an island that we have in the northeast of Brazil. Well, I can compare to Phi Island from Thailand, you know. It's a small island in Recife, Pernambuco.
I don't think it will show on this small globe, unfortunately, but it's around here.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there you have the most famous beaches of Brazil and definitely in the world. There is a place called, I think, Dois Irmãos Rio, which is like the postcard, and it's really beautiful there. What else? I would say Jalapão, which is another park that we have, and with a bluish water, like a beautiful nature environment. You know, it's something different from Amazonas, but
Where in Brazil is it?
it's in the middle of Brazil.
In the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle, called Tocantins, the state.
In the center.
Yeah, it's in the center. What else? Bonito, which means like beautiful in English. It is located in it is located in Mato Grosso do Sul. It's close to Paraguay.
Okay. Yeah. I'll find it. There we are.
Yeah. So there is a biome there called I forgot, Pantanal. Yeah. So you have the environment called Pantanal, and you can see jaguars. You can see like wildlife there. So if you wanna take some pictures, if you wanna see like a new environment, completely different from the rest of the world, I cannot describe because it's you can see so many stuff there, and it's a good place to see wildlife, I would say. What else? When you talk about like nature, I said like 7. I don't remember.
I stopped counting. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Can count in.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, Jalapão, Lençóis Maranhenses, Fernando de Noronha, Chapada Diamantina, Amazonas.
Yeah.
Monte Roraima. Bonito. What else?
The part up in the north. Did you say that one?
Yeah, island? Amazonas.
Oh.
Yeah, and Fernando de Noronha. Fernando de Noronha.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's it. I don't remember now. Yeah. Of course, there are some.
I will definitely write those down when I can hear the recording again.
I'm gonna put on the description, so if you are like
watching, great.
Yeah, awesome. You can go search there, and it's really beautiful. Or you can go to Brazilian Buddy underline on Instagram, and I show you all the pictures. So yeah, I would say that this is the most famous spots that we have here, and of course you have all the northeast coast, and you have beautiful beaches there as well. Of course, I cannot remember all the places, but yeah, I would say this. Yeah.
I feel like I could probably travel in Brazil for an entire year.
Yeah.
So if I had that opportunity, which I probably will never have in my life, because I need to work. But yeah, there's so many places.
Yeah, that's why I always say this, like that's why I'm doing this, because of course Rio is beautiful. We have a lot of environments there, but it's not just that. Like you have the northeast, you have the north, you have the central west. Like when you talk about like architecture, well, you have Brasília. When you talk about nature, you have all that list that I did. If you want to see historic cities, you have all around the country. So yeah, in other words, visit Brazil and find out.
Yes, I will one day. Hopefully, when Corona is over.
Yeah.
Travel
Let's
again.
pray.
Yes.
Let's pray. So Aurora, in Portuguese, Aurora, thank you so much for this episode. I think that
thank you.
It would be like just a conversation, and it was really fun, like to talk with you. we could talk about the Latin like vibe that we have, and I could show you a little bit about Brazil. And yeah, thank you so much
Yeah,
for this.
thank you.
And yeah, let's plan another episode because I think that we could talk for more hours, right?
Yes, let's do that. And let's plan one where you visit my podcast as well, because I think it will be really fun to hear, for my listeners as well, to hear more about Brazil.
Yeah, definitely,
That would
definitely.
be so much fun.
So,
Awesome.
do you have your last words?
I'm really, really happy that I got in contact with you through, social media, and that I got to, hear more about Brazil, because Brazil is such a large country, and like you said, it's not only your slogan.
My slogan. We are more than we are more than Samba football and carnival.
Exactly, and I'm really glad that I could, hear more about Brazil, and through your experiences. And yeah, also if you want to listen to like international experiences, you can, follow my podcast and listen to it. There's a whole season 1 out there. And also I'm on Instagram. It's called the Internationality Podcast on Instagram. If you want to stay curious about the world, like that has become my slogan now, I think.
Yeah, like I'm talking about Brazil, but you need to see the world as well.
Yes.
So guys, I'm Brazilian Buddy. You can find me anywhere. So you have Instagram, Brazilian Buddy _. You have Facebook, Brazilian Buddy. You have YouTube, Brazilian Buddy. You have Spotify, Brazilian Buddy Show. You have Pinterest as well. And I have a book. So if you're interested to know more about Brazil, I'm gonna put the link on the description. I talk about a lot of cities of Brazil, about food, athletes. It's everything there. Brazilian history. So yeah, thank you so much for this, and I'll
Thank
see you on the
you.
next. I see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Hej då.
Hej då.
Hej då. It's in Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah.